too far away. Hey, y'all. Welcome to A Truth for Your Soul live stream. I'm Cassandra K. I tell the truth. Welcome in. Welcome in. I want to talk about my class that I had last night and how amazing it was and how many people were actually helped. And I'm not going to give you guys the content of the class because I'm going to do this class again, but I will give you the key takeaways of last night's class. I have come to the understanding that a lot of people, hello there, I have come to, hold on y'all, let me get my glasses. I have come to the understanding that a lot of people don't know what the void is. I think people have been under the misconception that the void is something that is bad, that the void is something that you have to go through, which you do have to go through it, but it's not something that's bad. It's not something for your detriment. It's actually something for your good. And when you understand that it's not a waiting room, it's a womb. It's the same with the way that the caterpillar has to go into the cocoon in the darkness and realize that this is what I need for my life. This is what I need in order to go to the next level. And the void is a true truth detector. It's the most centered and the most sacred space where you learn to be your higher self, where you learn to be your most authentic self. It's like it's a highly intelligent and integrity space, you know, and what we've been told is that the void, and I don't even know if we've been told this because we've been in such a way that has not supported us. Like the Matrix, it never really supported us, right? So we have been looking at everything that is happening for us as a way of, you know, okay, this is just another thing. This is just another Matrix. This is just another thing that I got to overcome. This is just another thing that I got to learn how to be in. But it's not that. Hello there. The void is not that. The void is your friend. The unknown is your friend. It's where the miracles happen. It's where you gain your wings. It's where you find out who you are outside of being plugged up. It's where you find out that natural rhythm, that natural flow of who you are. Nice to meet you. Hello there. Yeah, it's that way of being that you say, okay, I know that when I was plugged up with the Matrix and I was spoon-fed an identity, I was spoon-fed an identity to do and be like everybody else. Everybody was, you know, going to work, working 40 years, then having to retire and live off a fraction of their salary. But your soul decided that there was more for your life. Your soul wanted to remember. And as your soul got ready to remember, you stepped out of the Matrix. You stepped out of that spoon-fed identity. You stepped out of that way that was spoon-fed to you, that everybody was doing. The majority of the mindset people, they were doing that. You stepped away from that. And because you stepped away from that, you stepped out of the Matrix and you stepped into the void. The void is that sacred space in between where you don't know nothing, where you leaving everything that you once knew, that comfortable bondage, that structured life, that uniform life. You're leaving that and you're entering into an unknown where you don't know nothing. And if you are not centered and grounded within yourself, hello there, how are you, Laura? Thank you for being here. When you get in that void and you understand that this is to center me, this is to make me that vessel that can't be tossed and turned like a rag doll anymore. This is to get me to my sovereignty. This is to take me out of survival mode and put me in sovereignty. Because when I'm in sovereignty, I'm in my inner authority. When I was in survival, I was in unawareness. I was in struggle. I was in toil. I was in tyranny. I was in trying to figure it out, people pleasing, doing all those things that made me feel like I belong to something. You know, because this is what the Matrix has did. Is that right? Has done. It has made you feel like that you being in stillness, you being alone is something bad. You being in that way where everything, that's right, a rag doll. You being in that way where you know everything and you are on all the time, and you're put into a space where you don't know nothing. Baby, this is where your wings are formed. This is where your strength is birthed. This is where your authenticity comes online. This is where you learn who you are. Because when you are in that way where you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to understand, you're hustling, you're grinding, you're striving, you're not connected to the true vine, the source of everything that is trying to let you know that if you center yourself within your body, if you come within your body and you calm down and you relax and you allow yourself to hear. This is you hearing from you. This is you hearing from your higher self. This is you hearing from the source of everything. Baby, when you understand how powerful you are and you allow yourself to go from survival to sovereignty. Survival mode taught you how to not trust yourself. Survival mode taught you to look outside of yourself for everything. And you are the weakest link, Laura. You are the weakest link. Please get off my live with that. Oh my God. You are such a low vibration. Please leave. Anyway, when you understand that who you are as a sovereign leads you to inner authority. It leads you to that place within you where all the answers are. And when you connect to this in any given moment, in real time, you're going to get the answers for your life in real time. This is why it was so important for you to be programmed. Because if they programmed you and took this away from you, then you wouldn't understand this power that you have and you wouldn't move and be in that power. And you wouldn't move and be in that way that is authority. Thank you, baby. Thank you. You wouldn't be in that way. You wouldn't be able to understand who you are. You wouldn't be able to understand that, okay, my whole life has been dismantled. It has been a gentle dismantlement. But when I understand that it was on a foundation that was fragmented, it was on a foundation that was not from my truth. It was on a foundation that looked like everybody else. But when me and the Most High decided to take a wrecking ball to that light and go into an unknown, the void, to find out my true, original, holy identity, baby, this is where the fun began. This is where the true magic began. This is where you fall in love with who you are. Because the things that you are seeing, the things that you are overcoming, the things that you are sitting with, the things that you are remembering, is setting you up for the greatest life ever. It's setting you up for the greatest timeline ever. And I want to encourage you, because when people are in the void, they think that there's no way out. This is why mental illness is a thing now in the spiritual community. because you have detached from what everybody else is doing. You know it's not true, okay? You know it's not true. And you have detached from that, and now you out here in this unknown, and it's really quiet. I mean, it's really quiet. And the main thing that the ego wants to do is put that state of emergency on you. Okay, panic. It's too quiet. You made a mistake. Something is not right. We can't control this. We can't measure this. This is all the ego. And when you understand that, okay, it's not an emergency. And let me tell you, you're going to deal with that from a few times. You're going to go back and forth. I did it, okay? I went back and forth because after I left the matrix, the cushiony life, the 9 to 5, the 3,000 square foot home and all of that. And I'm not telling you to take a wrecking ball to your life. I'm telling you that if your spirit is calling you to a higher place, baby, you got to answer that call, because there has been a great separation, and that gap is getting wider and wider with the frequency. And if you're not embodying your higher truth, if you're not moving in the direction of what your soul is saying to you, you're going to be stuck in a parasitic, synthetic, feeding off a stimulation timeline. Baby, your stillness is your best friend. I did a video, and I don't even remember where I posted it, talking about dopamine and how dopamine is being misused and how dopamine is keeping you separated from yourself. But when you understand that when you in this void, listen, this is what this void is doing. This is a rebirth energy. This is a rebirth space. This is a womb, okay? It's taking you back to your purest form, as close as you can get to your purest form. I'm talking about your thinking. I'm talking about your eating, what you're consuming, what you're drinking, whatever habits you have. This void is taking you back to your purest form, your original holy identity. Because when you understand that who I am as a sovereign, I lack nothing. I am rich, okay? And I lack nothing. And everything that this matrix has fed me my whole life has kept me separated from this fact. That right there will make you like, okay, let me question everything now. And when you start being that critical thinker and you start thinking for yourself, instantly you start getting the answers for your life. And then what happens is you go into this void. It's like a training ground. It's like, think about the Matrix. When the movie The Matrix, when Neo first found out that, when he first swallowed the pill and he went into it, and then he had to go into the training, and they started to, put in him all of these different things. They put in him all these different things, okay? Your martial arts. They downloaded all these different things in it. This is what the void is for you, okay? This void is teaching you your natural rhythm. Listen, a lot of us don't even know what we like. We don't know what we like. We don't know that the simple things light us up. The simple things like cooking. The simple things like dancing. Because we've been programmed to be in a robotic state. We've been programmed to be on all the time. That if you're still, that ego wants that space filled. Do you know that there are people that cannot spend 5 minutes alone by themselves without thinking that there's something wrong with them? They cannot spend 5 minutes sitting down doing nothing. They have to do something. It's always a nervous energy. Okay, I got to pick up a paper and read a paper. If I don't read the paper, I got to look at my phone. If I don't look at my phone, I got to clean off the counter. I cannot sit by myself in stillness because the ego wants you always moving. Because if you are always moving, you are distracted. And if you are distracted, you're never going to connect to the source that is within you that has every answer that you need. This is outsourcing your very power. And when you get tired of that and your soul is like, you know what? I know that there's more. I know it. I feel it. I know when I go to this job and I sit in this cubicle under these damn fluorescent lights that I feel like I'm not connected to myself. But when I get outside in nature, I feel most at home with myself. When I sit down and I meditate, I connect with God like I've never connected before. I've been going to church my whole life and I've never connected with God like this when I sit down with myself, because you have everything that you need. You are rich and you lack nothing. And everything about that synthetic timeline, the archons, the ones that wanted to steal your energy and harvest your energy, was to keep you separated from this. When I tell you that the void is your friend, and most people are trying to avoid it because they are afraid of not knowing, because they are so connected to the program that told them, you got to think about it. You got to make it happen. Listen, when you first step out, come on, y'all, we about to talk about it, all right? When you first step out and you trying to navigate this void, you trying to find your footing in this simulation, right? And you might look to family members, and the first thing family members are going to tell you, well, shit, you need to go get you a job. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You just need a job. You need a steady paycheck. You need something that's coming in every single week or every 2 weeks. This is what they're going to tell you because they are programmed. And please, let me say this. There's nothing wrong with working a job. It's nothing wrong with working a job. If you got obligations, you got your children, you got things that you got to take care of, you do what you got to do. I did not step out until my children were gone and grown and out of the house. I made a video about that, 60 and awake, because life, you built this life and you still got to maintain this life. I'm telling you that your sovereignty is going to meet you where you are. Wherever you are, your sovereignty is going to meet you there. If you stop showing up in the survival energy, meaning that you're dreading your every moment, you're dreading everything about your life, and you surrender, that current is going to take you where you need to go, because sovereignty is your inner authority. And I'm going to tell you something. It's so precise and it's so original that it's going to lead you into whatever it is that you need right where you are. It's going to meet you where you are. So do not worry about that compartmentalized mindset. Do not think that you are, betraying yourself because you're still working a job. No, that's not what this is. Do not think that you are not as spiritual because you're still working a job. Because I'm going to tell you something. When you surrender to who you are, Spirit will bless you right in the middle of what it is that you're doing, baby. You will get something from that job that is going to lead you to your next level. This is about surrendering to your true original identity, not to a spoon-fed way that the Matrix told that you had to be. Because the Matrix is all about compartmentalizing. The Matrix is all about, okay, let's place you somewhere. But when you step into the void, you become liquid. You become fluid. You're like water. You fit into any container and you take up space in any container. This is what water does. Okay? And when you stop moving and being in that way where you got to be so rigid about your life and your journey, you understand who you are. You understand that everything about your journey is leading you to you. This takes away everything. This takes away that way that you think you're doing something wrong. Because that's the Matrix. The Matrix wants you to think that you're doing something wrong. And the question came up last night in the class about the Matrix being inside of you. And I'm going to say that everything is perception. And I'm going to say that everything is frequency. So if you are experiencing the Matrix, that means that your vibration is that in the 3D, the toil, the struggle, the ways of being that made you feel separate from yourself. Frequency. But if you are in the 5D or higher, that frequency is letting you experience heaven on earth. Your time is your time. You get to do what you want to do. You get to be who you want to be. You get to see things the way that matrix wouldn't let you see them. So do you understand that there is no fixed way? That this is your sovereignty. Your sovereignty is your inner authority, and it's going to meet you right where you are. When you understand that stepping out of that synthetic timeline, that parasite of a timeline, you was not thinking for yourself. You was not showing up in that energy that says, okay, I am walking in authority. You were showing up in the energy as an orphan, not connected to the true vine, looking outside of yourself for some kind of support. But when you start moving and being in this earth as a sovereign, and you start understanding that this energy is supporting me, that whatever I say that I am, I am. Whatever it is that I place my consciousness in, that is what I'm taking up space in, because I'm fluid. I'm liquid. I'm not fixed. I'm not that solid form that told me that my way was fixed, that I had no other way. I'm not that anymore. Baby, I'm moving and being in the earth as a sovereign. I'm moving and being in the earth as liquid. Whatever it is that I think and say that I'm big and bad enough to do and be, I can be it. Do you understand that this is what they were fighting you for? Because think about it. If we understand that we are in a mass awakening, more people are waking up. More people are unplugging and waking up. Think about the ones that put this whole structure in place, the matrix, the industrialism, the commercialism. Put all this in place. If more people become independent thinkers, there's no need for them. That is why that timeline is crumbling. That's why that timeline is in a way that makes you feel like you're not connected. I had a conversation with a young man 2 days ago, and he has to go to work. He's an elderly gentleman, and he has to go to work at FedEx, and it's strenuous labor, and he's older. And he says, sometimes I just feel like I don't want to be here no more. That's what the Matrix designed you to think about yourself. I got to go work this strenuous, sweat by my brow ass FedEx job. And I'm an elderly man. I'm in the season of my life where I should be relaxing, where I should be enjoying life, and I'm still in this physical labor. That's the Matrix, and it's not going to change. Listen, it's not going to change. You have to be the change. You have to say no more to that. Because as long as they can capitalize off of your unawareness, as long as they can capitalize off of you not being in your authority, they're going to do it. Okay? Think about how many people get up every single day and they go to a job that they absolutely hate. And they're setting up dis-ease in their body because they have not connected to the true vine that lets them know, baby, if you understand who you are and you connect to who you are, you don't have to live this life. But what happens is this. The programming is so loud that when you step out and you don't get that 3D evidence that you used to, like a weekly paycheck, stimulation, you don't get that. Because understand, the 5D, you don't need that. Come on, I'm teaching y'all. In the 5D, you don't need that transactional life. So when you understand that the only way to get to my freedom, my true liberation, my true way of being is to go into this void, is to go into this womb that is going to teach me everything about me as a sovereign. Because I'm no longer connected to that way of being that had me small, that had me on a hamster wheel. I'm no longer connected to that. And once you really realize that the ego is a set of damn programs that was put in place that taught you how to navigate that matrix. It didn't teach you, hello there, it didn't teach you how to be in your energy. It didn't teach you how to be in your authority because it does not know that you have it. It doesn't know that you have this authority. It's still outsourcing everything. So once you stop feeding that ego, stop being, manipulated by it and put in that emergency mindset like, oh, we sinking, we're dying, your true sovereignty is going to come online. Your true authority is going to come online. You're going to move different, baby, because you know something. You're going to move in a way that says, you know what? FedEx ain't for me. I know it's a paycheck, but I know that there's something for me to do that only I can do that's going to light me up and it's going to add to mankind. But I'm not going to be able to find that as long as I'm not trusting myself enough to step away from that. The ones that have stepped away from that, baby, you know what I'm talking about. That matrix tried to starve you back into captivity. Baby, everything about you, that prison door, wide open. Wide open. I mean, there's no prison guards. There's the damn key hanging out the door. All you got to do is walk through it. But the programming will not let you walk through it because you're afraid of the unknown. You are afraid of the void. You are afraid if something's going to happen to you to cause you to sink. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going to sink. I'm going to tell you that real safety net is there to catch you. That false safety net job, that false safety net, okay, let me stay in this marriage, even though I know he don't like me and he killing my soul, but let me stay here because it's comfortable. False safety net. These limiting beliefs that has kept me small, false safety net. When you step out of that and you step into this unknown where everything, there is a field that is connected to you, and it's you are big and bad enough to be liquid to say that I am a wealth container, that I am a container of great knowledge, then guess what? You taking up space in that container. Baby, you get to say who you are. Okay? You are God remembering God. You're not walking around here like no punk, like you don't have no say in your life. That was 2 timelines ago. That's when you were still connected to that matrix that told you were small. Don't avoid the unknown. The unknown is where the miracles happen. The unknown is where you find your wings. The unknown is where you find your true strength and your true peace. And when you understand that, you navigate that void. You navigate it by surrendering to it. You navigate it by unlearning the patterns, the overthinking patterns. Listen, you navigate it by being in that one step that you on right now. I read that book years ago by Stormy O'Martian, and I don't even know if it was even connected to this, but that's saying just enough light for the step I'm on. You understand? I ain't got to know the 5-year plan. I ain't got to know, the 10-year goals. I don't have to know that. I got to stay connected to the true vine, keeping my purpose, keeping my originality, my authenticity ahead of me, moving and being, showing up, and I ain't worried about the rest. That's how you got to move in the void, because the matrix, the ego, listen, the matrix worships the ego. You know why? Because the ego is the programmable self. It's the self that dumbed it down enough to say, well, shit, let me attach to something. That's why the matrix loves the ego. But baby, when you get out of that survival mode mindset and you step into your sovereignty, your originality, your true authority, there is no limit. You are limitless. And it's what you say it is. As a man thinketh, so is he. This is your free will. Who do you say you are? Like when God was, talking to the disciples, when Jesus was talking to the disciples, and he asked them, he said, well, who do they say I am? Who do you say you are? Because who you say you are, that's who you are. This is past religion. This is past doctrine. This is past trying to put the Most High God in a box, in one religion, in one way. It's past that. It's bigger than that. And when you understand that you house this, this is within you. This is not something that you got to go outside of yourself and find. This is not something you got to go through the man of God to find. This is within you right now. And everything about your journey is leading you to this sense of oneness. This way of being that says, my goodness, I've never experienced this feeling before. This is what's waiting for you in the void. You're going to feel that wholeness. You're going to feel that connected, like you're so connected to everything. You're not in a panic anymore. You're not rushing anymore. You're not chasing anymore. You're not begging anymore. You are aligned with the truth that is for your soul. And when you understand this and you come forth in that identity that says, I don't know all the answers. All I know is this step that I'm on right here. And for me, that's enough. Don't you understand that that's a surrender that you'll never find connected to the matrix? You'll never find it there. Because the matrix was all about doing. The matrix was all about stimulation. The matrix was all about being on, being in control. I got to be in control. But there's a soft, poised, harmonious, magnetic life that is waiting for you when you allow this void to teach you who you are. When you allow this void to show you your natural rhythm. Once you see it for the first time, you can never unsee it. Once you feel your true power for the first time, you'll never, ever dumb it down again. You will see when people are trying to harvest your energy. You will see when people are trying to destiny swap with you. You will see it. And this is where you become the observer of that. Because nobody can be you. You look at them and you observe that. And you know in your mind, okay, pin there, I see you. You think that I'm not who I am when I know that I am who I am. Come on, y'all. Everything about this journey, baby, is magnificent when you get here. When you get to this place within your journey where you understand that I lack nothing, that I am rich, I am abundant, it's my birthright, it's my natural way of being. That old way was not my natural way of being. Baby, that old way was not it. That's why I always felt like I didn't fit. So if you feel like you don't fit, there's a reason for that. If you feel like, okay, this is hard, this is a toil, it's a reason for that. Because it's a whole field of possibilities, opportunity, money, unconditional love, your family, your people. It's a whole field that is waiting for you to connect to it. It's waiting for you. It is responding to you. Okay? It is responding to everything that you are. And this is what I like. You can't fake it. We are in the age of AI. And we are in the age of counterfeits being able to fake their way to the top. But if you really, really think about it, we are in a season where all of that's being revealed. The false prophets are being revealed. The ones that are on here with millions and millions of followers, baby, their true character is showing. Because we are in the great separation. We are in that way where you either embody the frequency of the new earth or you embody the frequency of the matrix. There is no more gray area. There is no more lukewarm energy. We are in it right now. And what you're going to find that if you come forth in an authentic way, and let me tell you something, it's not attached to the majority. Look, I got 5 people in here. The ones that's out there shaking their butt and got drama and got drastic stuff going on and hateful stuff going on. They got a room full. But it's okay. Because at the end of the day, the Most High gets the final say. And the Most High is speaking right now. The Most High is letting you know what's real and is letting you know what's not. I always say that the ones that are coming forth and embodying this truth are the new celebrities. And not celebrity in the way that the world is saying. I'm talking about, baby, you're going to be sought out because the void is filling you with great knowledge. Listen, while you trying to avoid it, the void is sitting there waiting for you to enter into it to give you these downloads. I'm talking about downloads that flesh and blood ain't revealing to you. But see, if you are in the way, that's it. If you are in that way where you think that, okay, I got to go with the crowd. If everybody ain't doing this, then it must be wrong. You're not in your inner authority. You're not in that way that says, okay, I am the captain of this ship. I am. Everything about you is expansion when you get here. Everything works for you then. If you still in that way where you plugged up, you looking at and you judging everything, let me tell you, baby, the void is going to burn it all out of you. The void is going to burn all of that vanity, pride, judging people, looking down on people, thinking you better than people. The void is going to be like, no, because that's not your true, original, holy identity. Remember, the void is a truth detector. It's a container of integrity. It's going to meet you in that way. You going back to your purest form. There's no way that you can fake it over there. There's no way that you can come forth with that cognitive dissonance. You saying one thing, but your frequency is saying another thing. You're not in alignment with yourself. You're not in congruence with yourself. It's being revealed in this time. This is not fear-mongering. This is setting you up for the greatest love affair that you will ever partake in. And when you really, really allow the void to do what it's going to do, and you're going to see how magnetic you become after being in it, you're going to see that everything that you truly, truly desire is yours because it's a byproduct of who you became in the void. Let me paint a picture for you. The caterpillar goes into the cocoon as like almost like a damn worm, okay? But after the caterpillar is in the cocoon, in the darkness, in the unknown, in the silence, what comes out is breathtaking. Beautiful color, an essence that floats, the wings that can fly. But if that butterfly came out of that cocoon too soon, it wouldn't be able to do all of that. You are in a season of a rebirth. And you're trying to rush the process because the ego wants you to measure everything. The ego wants you to say, oh, but we're uncomfortable. Okay. But what comes out, baby, is gold. Because you allowed yourself to be pressurized. You allowed yourself to be formed into something that can never be fucked with again. Okay? I'm serious. You cannot be messed with again. Whatever comes into your life, you're going to know just where to put it. Whatever enters into your life is going to be filtered through truth, authenticity, unconditional love, purpose. If it don't fall into one of them slots, it falls straight to the ground. Because this is who you are and this is who you've always been. And everything about you that was in unawareness, the powers that be, the ones that stole your energy, they knew it. They knew who you were. Your family knew it. They knew that you had something on you that was different. They knew that you did things that were exceptional. Like everything you did, you might have cooked good, you might have decorated good, dressed good. Whatever it is that you did it good. You did it to the ninth power, and it set up jealousy. But you, in naivete, with your empathic soul and spirit, your childlike faith, was oblivious to it. Because your heart is made of unconditional love. Y'all, I'm telling you, it's time for you to walk in this authority. You do so many things well. And you've been around some people that could not hold that light. That light threatened them. And you thought it was something wrong with you all this time. You thought, well, damn, I must be going crazy. No. You're coming into the truth about who you really are. You're not crazy. You woke. And being woke means that you know something. And knowing something means that you're moving different. You're not showing up for disrespect no more and calling it love. You're not showing up for lukewarm relationships where you say you love me, but when I leave the room, I'm the topic of conversation. Baby, don't you understand? That's survival. Sovereignty is aligning you with your tribe. Sovereignty is aligning you with your true soul's mission. Sovereignty is aligning you with that container that houses great wealth and great knowledge. But you're not going to find it staying connected to a synthetic timeline that told you that you got to be elderly and go working a job that is not even in alignment with you. You risking your damn life working this job because you doing what the Matrix told you had to do. Listen, don't you understand that everything about this journey to self, this journey to oneness, this journey is leading you into all truth. And there is a small majority of people that houses this truth. Okay? There's a small majority of people that are not coming forth in that compromising way. I know the truth, but I'm going to make it fit the Matrix. I'm going to compromise. I'm going to make it fit so people can relate to me. No. The message is the message. Okay? You don't perform for algorithms. You don't perform for likes and shares and all of that. You can't. You're far beyond that. And there's a small percentage of people that are moving like this. And that small percentage of people have been hidden in plain sight. Hidden in families that mishandled them. Hidden in relationships and marriages that dogged them and mistreated them and abused them. Not knowing what they were doing. But the whole time, Spirit was like, yes. Because Spirit is revealing the heart of man in this season. You can't hide. So if you have experienced that and you still, listen, oh my God, Spirit, come on. If you have experienced that and you still can come forth with the heart of God, I'm talking about your family showed their ass. I'm talking about people abused you and dogged you. But you still come forth with that heart that anybody that comes into your experience for the very first time, they get to experience God in you. They don't get to experience your wound, what happened to you, because you don't move like that. You don't move like that. You like Jesus. Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. Because you know that happened to you, that they don't have nothing to do with who you are as a sovereign being. So when somebody comes into your experience and they need your help, when they come and it's filtering, it's not filtering through, okay, well shit, my family hurt me, so I can't trust people. It's not filtering through that. It's not filtering through, okay, somebody coming to your life that is ready to love you and ready to hold you down for real. It's not filtering through what I trusted him and he hurt me. No, because it's real time. It's real time authenticity. It's real time authority. It ain't got nothing to do with a performative way and coming forth in a wound. Doesn't have anything to do with that. This is how you know that you are a new earth leader. This is how you know that you are a conduit to the frequency of the new earth. Because it's all about unconditional love. It's all about peace. Let me put my glasses on so I can see what you're seeing, baby. Yes. Yes. When you understand that and you start moving and being in the earth, in the authority that was given to you, not by man, not by church, not by your paycheck, not by the titles that you put from your behind your name. The Most High God. Everything about your journey is expansion. And when you get here and you allow yourself to be the vessel, uncompromised. I'm not going to water down what spirits say because I want to be relatable. And then I'm not going to come forth with all this rhetoric to sound like I am deep, like I'm performing depth for the algorithm. What can you tell me about my soul, man? What can you tell me to get me to navigate this shit that I don't understand? I don't need to hear about the symbols and all of that. No, what can you tell me about navigating this void? Come on. What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about surrendering when I think that I'm losing my damn mind, when I think that I'm alone? What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about stop holding on to things that have hurt me and let go of them? And when I let go of them, that I am in the flow of life. All those symbols and stuff, let me tell you something. If you don't understand it, that ain't for you. Listen, I look at these content creators that are so deep, and I'm like, wow, if I could just understand what you were saying. Seriously, that's what I'd be like. If I could just understand what you meant. You talking about the symbols, you talking about the temples, you talking about all this rhetoric. If I could just understand that. And I'm going to tell you the timeline that is crumbling and the timeline that we're going into, the difference is mind-blowing. Because the eternal life timeline is simple, it's quiet, it's slow, it's easy, it's soft, it's not confusing, it's not a lot of red tape. It's heaven on earth. It is literally heaven on earth, where everybody is in their own lane. There's no competition. Because when you realize this and you start moving like this, you understand that if I'm in my authentic essence and I'm coming forth with that authentic expression that is me, this is you allowing spirit to flow unrestricted. This is you allowing spirit to flow outside of the ego. This is your pure essence coming forth. If you do that, you good. You good. You don't have to know everything. You know it because it's already written on your heart. Your resonance is going to reveal everything to you. And your spirit of discernment is going to dismiss what is not yours. Everything about this journey is amazing. Stop fighting the void. Stop thinking that survival mode is your baseline. Survival mode is not your baseline. Survival mode is the foreign frequency. It's the artificial frequency. It's not the real frequency. Sovereignty is the real frequency. Survival mode was a learned behavior. It's a habit. It's a pattern. It's an addiction. But when you understand that you being in your sovereign frequency breaks all addictions, breaks all addictions. And I'm going to tell you this to go with the flow of your life. Understand what's happening if when your body is rejecting certain things. And I'm going to go there. You know, people don't like me to go there, but I'm going to go there. When you're still smoking weed every day and you vaping and you doing all these things that are giving you that stimulation, that's separating you from you. Who you are is a natural high vibrational being. You don't need the stimulants. You don't need the coffee. You don't need the caffeine. You don't need the alcohol. You don't need it. You need to connect to your soul so much that your vibration is so high that your body starts to reject that stuff. And I'm living proof that that happens. Your body starts to reject stimulants. Your body starts to reject anything foreign that is coming in that is altering your dopamine. Dopamine is that feel good hormone. It's that hormone that, you know, gives you joy and gives you all of that. And if it's mismanaged, if it's not allowed to come forth naturally by getting outside in sunlight, by exercising your body, by flowing in your purpose, by playing with your granddaughter and playing outside, dancing, cooking, doing those things that are natural. This is releasing dopamine the natural way. The unnatural way is vaping, weed, coffee, alcohol, scrolling all day. Those are unhealthy ways. And if you keep giving yourself the unhealthy way, your body does not recognize the real way. Yes. It's uncomfortable. Listen, when I tell you that this void is taking you back to your original blueprint, it's taking you back to the original blueprint. You didn't need all that stuff. You ain't need all that. Think about it. When mama and them was, you know, kids, and you used to go outside and you used to play, and you ain't have nobody over your head, you know, watching you. You were a critical thinker. You were making mistakes and, you know, learning and outside just exploring. That has been stripped from us, from this internet. That has been stripped from children. Children's brains are not developing right because we putting them in front of a damn screen too soon. Don't you understand that this new earth frequency is taking us back to the original way? It's taking us back to the playful way. It's taking us back to the exploratory way. It's taking us back to that way where we want to do things that make us feel alive. Not fake ass energy. Vaping, fake energy. Caffeine, fake energy. It's fake. And if you keep giving yourself that synthetic energy, your whole system is out of alignment. Because dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's connected to your brain and it's connected to stimulation. And if you're not getting it naturally, your whole thing is all messed up in the game. This is why our nervous systems are fried. You're not getting outside no more. You're not playing no more. You're not having intellectual, real conversations anymore. You're not reading books anymore. You're not actually writing anymore. All of this stuff that was put in place to make us batteries. Make us batteries. Because if you outside and you connected to the life force and you grounded in nature, you adding years to your life. If you're eating the foods that make you feel alive and make you feel connected, you're adding years to your life. The void is your friend. The void is stripping away everything fake. Everything fake. And it ain't for no punks. It ain't. Baby, you're going to be kicking and screaming because the ego wants what it wants. But when you understand that I don't have to feed that ego anymore, because that's survival. The ego is that program that I fell for. But my sovereignty is connected to my inner God-given authority. My sovereignty is God remembering that I am God. It's me remembering that I am connected to the source of everything, that the Most High dwells within me. Jesus told you the kingdom of heaven is within you. Jesus told you that me and the Father are one. The works that I do greater than you will do. But see, the hierarchy, the patriarchy timeline got a hold of that and said, no, 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 no. We can't teach people this. We can't teach them that the kingdom of heaven is within them. We can't teach them that God dwells within them. No, we got to make them slaves. We got to make them look for God outside of themselves. We got to make them worship a God outside of themselves. We got to commercialize them to make them give us 10% of their hard-earned wages to make them think that they're serving God if they do that. Baby, they had us all twisted up in the game. All a business. All of it is a business. You are the church, okay? You are whatever it is that you need. When you understand that, you move differently. When you understand that, you stop showing up for things that are not in alignment with the highest, most authentic, most sovereign version of yourself. When you understand that, you stop giving people labels and titles and you start seeing frequency. Okay? That's it. That's exactly why your body is called the temple. You know, you stop looking at, okay, well, man, that's my aunt. That's my sister. That's my uncle. No, I'm going to look at your frequency. It's like Jesus said when the disciples came and told him, well, your mom and your brother are over there. And he said, well, who is my mom and my brother? Who is your mom, your brother, your sister if they don't house this frequency? Because if they don't house this frequency, they're going to act as an NPC in your life. An NPC is a non-playing character. And they're going to harvest your energy. And they're going to be energy vampires. And they're going to do things to make you feel like you're not who you are. That's what non-playing characters do. They just take up space and try to wreak havoc on the whole situation. And let me say this because this came up in the class last night too. Isolation. Don't think you are alone. No. Don't think that spirit is not with you when it's quiet. What's trying to take place is for you to default back into your true power. Because we've been programmed to outsource it. We've been programmed to look for everybody for everything. But when it gets quiet like that, that spirit trying to let you know that you have power. And once you get tired of being on that hamster wheel, and once you get tired of outsourcing your frequency and your energy, you're going to start asking the questions, okay, I keep looping. I keep repeating this cycle. I keep going over this. I keep going over this. What am I supposed to learn in this? And you surrender, and then what happens is you default within. And when you default within, baby, you have just discovered the treasure. When you default within and you stop allowing the ego to tell you that you're lonely, you stop allowing the ego to tell you that nobody likes you, you by yourself, paint those pictures, tell that damn ego to shut up and go sit down. Once you stop allowing that and you will let the stillness and the quietness take you, what you're going to find is such a love and a support and a joy and a peace. Man can't give you this. Nobody can give it to you. Because if they could give it to you, they could take it from you. This is why when you get here, you don't worship no man. When you get here to this sovereignty, nobody is put on a pedestal. When you get here, you understand, okay, Oprah has built a platform, but Oprah don't know what I know. Come on. Tony Robbins got a whole platform, But he don't know what I know. This is sovereignty. This is you defaulting back to the power within you. Because you put the ego to bed. You got quiet enough. You got still enough. You understand now who you are. And the grand and the most integrous thing about this, you're not boastful. You're not vain. You're not braggadocious. You're not like, you're not that. You're not that. You still got that childlike faith. You still got that heart of God. And you still coming forth with everything that is aligned with your highest truth. This is how you know that you are right where you're supposed to be. Yep. All right, I'm going to take a few questions, y'all. From the 4 people within here. Come on, let's go. Let's do this. What are you dealing with right now in your journey that you don't understand? What are you looping with that you don't understand? I'm here to help you. I've been on for an hour. I'm proud of myself. All of my live streams are on my page. So if you like what you heard today and this is your first time here, go check them out because spirit flows in these lives. I'm gonna say because there's a divine counterpart that is aligned with your soul and y'all gonna do work together and y'all gonna change the game for a lot of people together, and anything and anybody else is not gonna last until you actually are in alignment with that divine counterpart. That divine counterpart is probably saying the same thing to someone else because it's not working for them either, because you guys got work to do together. It's gonna change the game for a lot of people. So that's why. And you're gonna understand it. You're gonna understand it because this person gonna be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I see why nothing else worked. Yep. Yep. I see why nothing else worked. Because see, the ego wants you all up in your head. The ego wants you all up in your head about everything. The ego wants you questioning everything, trying to figure out everything. And some things are just to be experienced, you know? Some things are for you to just observe. Okay, y'all, I'm going to call it. Thank you for rocking with me. If you've been here the whole time, I sure appreciate you. All right, I'm Cassandra K, and this has been a Truth for Your Soul live stream. The title of this one is From Survival to Sovereignty. This is episode 16. I'll be back. All right, I love you. Later.